Let's get straight to the point. Cutting out that daily cup of coffee won't make you rich. Yes, I know this might be a surprising idea, but the truth is much more complex than the typical advice we hear. Most financial tips circulating online focus on saving small amounts and cutting superfluous expenses, like coffee or dining out. But here's a secret that millionaires know. Real financial growth comes from deeper, more conscious strategies, not from extreme cuts in simple day-to-day pleasures. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to accumulate wealth while others struggle to get ahead, the answer lies in something most people overlook: the financial habits and strategies the wealthy master. And the most interesting part? You can learn these strategies and start applying them today. Yes, right now. The beauty of these tactics is that they work for anyone, regardless of how much money you have in the bank. You don't need to be a millionaire to start thinking like one. In today's video, we're going to explore these strategies and how they can help you completely change the way you handle money. We'll talk about the famous October 1575 rule, retirement planning in other countries, behavioral economics, cryptocurrency investments, portfolio diversification, financial security, the FIRE philosophy, and the impact of artificial intelligence on finances. Oh, and of course, I'll share real stories and practical examples to illustrate how these ideas can work in your daily life. So, stick with me until the end, because if you apply these concepts, you'll start seeing real changes in your financial life. And trust me, you won't want to miss the valuable tips I have to share. Part 1. The October 1575 rule. Let's start with one of the simplest and most effective strategies to organize your finances. The October 1575 rule. If you're not familiar with this rule yet, don't worry. It's easy to understand and, more importantly, easy to apply. Basically, this rule divides your income into 3 main categories: 75% for day-to-day expenses, 10% for an emergency fund, and 15% for investments. The idea behind this division is to ensure that you have enough money to live comfortably now while building an emergency fund and investing in your future. Imagine you earn 10,000 reais per month. According to the rule, 7,500 reais would be allocated to your regular expenses, like rent, food, transportation, and leisure. This amount is enough to cover your needs while still allowing you to enjoy life without depriving yourself of everything. The next step is to take 10% of your income, in this case 1,000 reais, and put it into an emergency fund. This fund will save you in unexpected situations, such as a medical emergency or expensive car repairs. Having a financial cushion is essential, so you don't have to rely on loans or high-interest credit cards when the unexpected happens. Last but certainly not least, the remaining 15% or 1,500 reais should be invested. And this is where the real secret of the wealthy comes into play. Investing means making your money work for you while you focus on other things. Over time, these investments will grow, and if well managed, can secure your financial independence. Now, let's dive a little deeper into how and where you should invest this money. Part 2. International retirement planning. Have you ever imagined retiring in a country where the cost of living is much lower, but the quality of life is excellent? Well, this is becoming an increasingly common reality for people around the world. Countries like Portugal, Mexico, and Costa Rica are becoming popular destinations for retirees seeking a peaceful life without spending a fortune. Retirement planning in other countries requires a certain level of preparation, of course, but the benefits can be immense. Imagine living in a place with paradisiacal beaches, pleasant weather, and, best of all, a cost of living that allows you to enjoy these perks without sacrificing your standard of living. For many, this is the definition of a dream retirement. However, it's not enough to just pick a country and move. To ensure that your retirement abroad is successful, you need a solid financial plan. This means saving wisely while you're still at the peak of your career. Applying the October 1575 rule we mentioned earlier is a good start, but it's also important to consider the legal and tax aspects of living in another country. Each country has its own rules about taxes and retirement for foreigners. Therefore, one of the first things you should do is consult a financial advisor who specializes in international retirement. They will help you understand which taxes you'll have to pay, how to transfer your investments to another country, and how to maximize your money while living abroad. Part 3. Behavioral economics. Now, let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed but has a huge impact on our finances: human behavior. Behavioral economics studies how our emotions and biases affect our financial decisions. And believe me, these influences are bigger than we imagine. How many times have you bought something on impulse and later regretted it? Maybe a piece of clothing you never wore or a gadget that lost its charm after a few days. We've all done it, and this is where behavioral economics comes in. Our tendency to prefer immediate rewards over thinking about long-term benefits might be what's preventing us from saving and investing more effectively. One of the key concepts in behavioral economics is hyperbolic discounting, which is a fancy way of explaining why we prefer instant gratification. Want an example? Let's say you have the option to spend 100 reais today or invest that money and get a much higher return in a few years. For many people, the desire to have something now outweighs the potential future gains. And this is how we end up spending money that could have been working for us. But there is a way to combat this behavior. One of the most effective ways is to set clear financial goals and automate your investments. This means that before you even think about spending the money, it has already been allocated to an emergency fund or investment. This way, you take the emotion out of the equation and ensure that your finances are on the right track. Part 4. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets. In recent years, cryptocurrencies and digital assets have become one of the most talked about topics in the world of finance. Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFTs, all these terms have become part of the vocabulary of investors and curious onlookers. But what exactly are cryptocurrencies? And more importantly, do they really have a place in your investment portfolio? Cryptocurrencies are digital currencies that use cryptography to secure transactions. Unlike traditional currencies, like the dollar or the real, cryptocurrencies are decentralized, meaning they are not controlled by any government or financial institution. This makes them a unique asset with huge appreciation potential but also with very high volatility. Investing in cryptocurrencies can be very profitable, but you need to be cautious. The cryptocurrency market is notoriously volatile, with prices that can rise and fall drastically within hours. So, how do you ensure you're investing wisely? The key is diversification. Don't put all your money into cryptocurrencies. Instead, invest a small part of your portfolio in this market and distribute the rest in more stable assets, such as index funds or real estate. Moreover, it's essential to understand how to protect your digital assets. Security is a real concern when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Unlike traditional bank accounts where you can easily recover access in case of loss, if you lose access to your digital wallet, it may be impossible to recover your assets. That's why you should always use secure digital wallets and avoid leaving your coins on exchanges. Part 5. Advanced diversification strategies. Investing in stocks and index funds is a solid strategy. But there are other ways to diversify your portfolio that many people are unaware of, and this is where we delve into the world of alternative assets. Real estate, art, wines. These are all examples of assets that can bring significant returns while protecting your portfolio from the volatility of traditional markets. Let's start with real estate crowdfunding. This method allows you to invest in large real estate projects with a small amount of money. Instead of buying an entire apartment, you can become a partial investor in an office building or a residential complex. This type of investment offers a stable return while allowing you to diversify your portfolio without having to spend millions. Another interesting alternative asset is art. Yes, you can invest in works of art, and depending on the piece, the return can be quite significant. However, it's important to remember that this type of investment requires a certain level of knowledge and research. You can't just go out and buy paintings and expect them to appreciate in value. The same logic applies to wines and other collectible assets. Part 6. Personal financial security and asset protection. With the increasing digitalization of finances, financial security is a concern that cannot be ignored. Hackers, fraud, identity theft. All these are risks we need to take seriously. But what can you do to protect your assets? The first thing you should do is ensure that all your financial accounts are protected with two-factor authentication. This simple measure can prevent many problems. Also, if you invest in cryptocurrencies, it's crucial to store them in a secure digital wallet, rather than leaving them on exchanges which are more vulnerable to cyber attacks. Another way to protect your assets is through trusts and asset protection insurance. These legal instruments ensure that your assets are protected in case of bankruptcy, legal disputes, or other issues. It's always a good idea to consult an attorney specializing in estate planning to make sure everything is in order. Part 7. FIRE Philosophy, Financial Independence, Retire Early. The FIRE philosophy, financial independence, retire early, has been gaining more and more popularity in recent years. The idea is simple. Save and invest aggressively to retire much earlier than the traditional age. But how does it work in practice? Basically, the goal of FIRE is to save a large percentage of your income, usually between 50% and 70%, and invest that money in assets that generate passive income, such as real estate or index funds. By doing this, you accumulate wealth that, over time, allows you to live solely off the returns from these investments without relying on a traditional job. There are different variations of FIRE. Lean FIRE, for example, is for people who are willing to live with less money in order to retire earlier. Fat FIRE is for those who want to maintain a more luxurious lifestyle, even after retirement. Regardless of which version you choose, the important thing is to start saving and investing as soon as possible. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to building wealth. Part 8. The impact of artificial intelligence on the financial market. Finally, we can't overlook the impact of artificial intelligence, AI, on the financial market. AI is already transforming the way we invest, from automated trading algorithms to robo-advisors that help investors make more informed decisions. Platforms using AI analyze data in real time and suggest the best investment opportunities, something that would be impossible for a human to do manually. This means that, with the help of technology, ordinary investors can access powerful tools to optimize their portfolios and maximize their returns. And the best part? You don't need to be a tech expert to take advantage of these tools. Many investment platforms already offer AI-based solutions in a user-friendly and accessible way. If you're not yet using AI to your advantage, now is the time to start. The real secret to managing your finances like the wealthiest 1% is applying smart and diversified strategies. It's not about cutting out small pleasures like coffee, but about having a broad approach that includes investment diversification, asset protection, and the use of new technologies. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share your questions in the comments.